This is an unprecedented, ultra rare period of your life. In fact, your mother and your grandmother didn't experience this either. This consists of a profound emotional release between July 4th and July 11th. You are breaking free from a multi-year cycle between Mars and Uranus that has been influencing you since 2024 under the fixed star Medusa. You are gaining immense clarity to prioritize your own needs, honor your truth, and confidently walk away from situations with insight from the past, recognizing when they don't serve you. Right after the conjunction of Mars and Uranus at 3 degrees of Gemini, the moon enters Pisces and passes the North Node. This is the same point in which Uranus passed in 2022, except at that time the North Node was in Taurus, and the same conjunction that Mars made in March 2026 while the North Node was in Pisces. So the moon is tracing the same path that Uranus and Mars had made. This activates a spectacular 6-day arc that's going to culminate on July 10th. Now, we talked about this in yesterday's video, so if you want to find out more, check it out there. But I wanted to highlight this week because in yesterday's video, we talked about July 10th, but we didn't highlight the period between July 4th and July 10th as very important. On July 15th, 2024, Mars and Uranus joined together at 26 degrees of Taurus. So if you watch my channel, you already know that's the Algol degree. Algol is one of the most malefic fixed stars. It's associated with Medusa. So between July 15th, 2024, when the last conjunction happened at 26 degrees Taurus with the star, we've been under a planetary cycle between Mars and Uranus that was initiated with this energy. So we've been under an Algol planetary cycle. This has led to increased violence, tension, and now that we've had the reset on July 3rd, a lot of that violence is now going to shift away. So we are being liberated from this energy, from this Algol energy. And so the moon tracing the same path in the sky. So right here, right here, here, right here, here, and here, here. And finally on July 10th, this is the 11th, but you get the picture. The moon is going to trace this area of the chart between Pisces and Gemini. And when it traces the same part of the chart that Uranus and Mars have now passed after passing the North Node in 2022 and March 2026, it builds up the energy. It helps you to emotionally process everything that's been happening. Also, of course, we know Mercury is retrograde in Cancer, also a water sign, right? And so we're doing a lot of emotional, cathartic processing here. So it's not just July 10th through the 11th when the moon is passing this area of the chart, but it actually starts on July 4th and continues all the way to July 11th. And I want to stress the rarity of this transit because in yesterday's video, I skipped over a very important feature which makes it more rare. Essentially, a moon transit like this hasn't happened anywhere in the chart for 1,500 years, and in Gemini for 2,500 years or more. That's the maximum that I looked. So let me show you why this activation is so rare. So we know that the moon is out of bounds, which means that it's beyond the path that it usually travels. This makes our experiences beyond conventional. We already know that the moon is bending the nodes with Uranus and Mars. In yesterday's video, I explained that this is the accumulation or saturation point, that we're moving from accumulating to processing. But yesterday I forgot to mention one important feature. This moon is a supermoon, which means that it's closest to the Earth, and this creates a deep intensity of emotions. So these combination of features alongside the conjunction and Uranus and Mars is completely unprecedented. Under an energy like this, we are experiencing breaking free of negative influences. You should be very excited and open. You might be experiencing having a very open mind right now. People will experience huge breakthroughs, and you should experience a major release of the energies of the last several years, but especially since March 2026. That's when Mars passed the North Node over the next 6 days, not just July 10th. This type of release is not necessarily an ending. It's more of a moment of lucidity and awareness when you let go and you rethink things through and you feel liberated. So let's do a little channeled energy. The cards that I got for today are Danger. We had that come up the other day too. Giving, number 30. Reaching, that's also come up a couple times. Preparing, right side up this time. Pure Intentions, which is the Aquarius card, the star, something faded. And we have Desiring, which is number 35. Okay, so let's see what we're going to get. Someone is coming to you with good intentions. This may be someone from your past. They have been wanting to contact you for a long time. This is someone who may protect you or have protected you in the past. This may be a person from the opposite gender. This person may want you to relocate, move, or go on a trip. You may actually turn them down because it doesn't feel right. This reminds me of our video yesterday when we said 2028 was the more solid conjunction of Mars and Uranus. We've seen a couple different things come up in 2028, signaling that that was the more stable iteration, while this 2026 was a preparation. I think someone doesn't see your danger. They don't see that you're in danger of what you've gone through. Now I understand why you may be turning them down, because maybe you've done some work on your own and then just recognize that they're not seeing you, all of you, and all of your experiences. The energy here is, how come you don't want to spend time with me? How come you're not available? And there's like, you're in the spirit of not even answering that offer. Maybe in the past you would have gone, or maybe in the past you would have taken time. Oh, time off work. This has some kind of like compromise your own time element to it. So even though there's not a great conflict there, I think that that preparation is really clicking in. The feeling that you must prepare. You may feel that you don't have a lot of time and you have different priorities. Sorry that these look crooked. They're actually even. My camera's set differently for this, so it looks crooked. I have to get used to it. But I forgot one thing when I was doing the channeling and I cleared the board. I strongly feel that a lot of people, including yourself, are putting themselves first. So if you're rejecting something, everybody's stepping into what they desire, what they want. And my assumption is that you're rejecting offers because you're very clear in your truth and what you need. So when things come around, even things that maybe you've wanted in the past, they no longer seem appealing, or you're very clear on the fact that that's not for you. But I wanted to show you some past iterations. Yesterday we mentioned this as well, but I want to go through them, and I have another one. So April 18th was the first date in which the moon passed Uranus like this and activated the nodes, the whole combination. But Uranus was still in Taurus, so it was still the old energy. And then on May 16th, the moon passed this position again. This was right after the new moon in Taurus. Uranus had just entered Gemini, so this activation of the moon in Gemini was pretty aligned, but it wasn't perfectly aligned yet. So then we had the June 13th activation. This was right before a new moon in Gemini. This was the huge supermoon. And I told you guys at the time that that was the biggest supermoon, or like the biggest new moon of the year. And the energy was very strong with that one. You can really trace back to anything that happened around those days. Then we have the upcoming July 10th activation, and this is the strongest one. This is because Mars and Uranus are so close together still in Gemini, and the moon will reach a midpoint between the two planets. This is the part of the transit that is super rare, the one that hasn't happened in Gemini for 2,500 years at least, and in any sign for 1,500 years. It was the 5th century, the last one that I could find in a different sign. But I did find one more activation of the moon transit over these positions. So we actually get one more on August 7th. And this is interesting because Mercury will have gone direct. And so the energy will be forward moving. Mercury retrograde in Cancer is a huge influence until July 23rd. And then it will pass the energy over to Saturn retrograde on July 26th. We'll talk about this in a separate video, but there's a big lead up here as well. So it's a competing energy doing something else in the chart. This activation is still powerful. The nodes are still in Pisces and Virgo, but Mars is at 27 degrees of Gemini, so it's not so close to Uranus anymore. So this is the strongest one, the one in 6 days. So all of these are activations of the moon moving between Pisces and Gemini, and all of these dates that I have here are the position when the moon reaches Uranus and Mars. So these are the peak. So in yesterday's video, I felt that information got lost, and I want you guys to pay attention to this whole week because it could be some of the most important astrology of the year, if not the decade. So it's better that we look at it closely. Now let's do a little tarot card reading to understand this energy. The first card is the Four of Wands. There's some kind of satisfaction with regard to where you live, or maybe you've kind of settled into something, you feel comfortable with something. Then we have the Ten of Swords. That's Mars in Gemini, by the way. That's Sun in Gemini, sorry. Then we have the Two of Cups and the Strength card, which is Leo. We have the Six of Cups, and there's the Eight of Wands. Very nice cards. So it does acknowledge that you're processing something or moving past something that really was difficult for you in the past. There's something about a past situation that you needed to accept that was very difficult to accept, very difficult to accept a loss, accept the way someone treated you. But this moon is pushing the energy in such a strange location of space that I think that there's like the energy that enables you to face whatever has happened in the past. And it's a really good thing in this case because you have very wonderful energy around you otherwise. You have the Two of Cups, the Six of Cups, Eight of Rods. Something may not have worked out, but there's definitely something to take away from all this. I see again a message of someone reaching out to you. They are reaching out with good intentions. Let's take a look at more cards. We have the Six of Swords. I grabbed the deck upside down, but we'll honor it. Look, we have Leo on the bottom as well. This may have to do with Leo season that's coming up. Oh, there it is as well after I shuffled. Personal strength, happiness, kind of doing things a different way, doing things that suit you and the way they suit you and the manner in which. And then we have Temperance. This is very similar energy, like carefully moving forward towards a goal. There's something that was really hard to let go of. Then we have the King of Cups, Pisces, Cancer, Scorpio. This is also a Sag, Leo, or Aries card. Someone has very good intentions towards you. Then we have Hierophant, that's Taurus energy. That's that last planetary cycle between Mars and Uranus that began on Algol. It's over now, but look back to July 2024, between July 2024 and July 3rd, 2026. And then we have Seven of Swords. So I was right that there's this sense that you want to walk away from something, despite it being a nice offer or a kind gesture of some kind. You're turning your back on something, maybe because it feels like it's the past. So maybe the situation in and of itself isn't so problematic, but I get the sense that you have some kind of inner wisdom, inner knowledge that is causing you, to make a decision to walk away from possibly an offer, some kind of offer. Then we have the Three of Swords. Something really, really hurt your heart. And then we have the Three of Wands. And you've refocused your attention. You're looking forward towards maybe like new goals or new visions of where you want to see things through. And then you have the Ten of Cups. Don't be afraid to say no to a situation. The outcome, and look, you have 10 of Pentacles on the bottom. Reset your priorities at this time to whatever you feel is necessary. Whatever situation hurt you in the past, just honor the lessons, the lived experiences that you have coming out of it. If you say no to someone, now, I'm surprised by the Hierophant and things like that. That might be somebody's intention towards you, because at first I felt it was more casual, like, hey, let's hang out, let's spend some time together. It didn't feel like a life decision that was happening. So I'm a little surprised by the Hierophant. Suddenly, maybe this person's intentions are deeper, but I get the sense here that you have a strong urge to go in a very specific direction right now, and you should honor it. And if you're worried that you're turning down an opportunity, that you're turning your back on genuine attention, I think what's coming to you is great happiness regardless of what you choose. And you're meant to sort of test your insights. Okay, so let's pick a little bit more. So we have the Sun. There's like guarantee of a good outcome, a positive outcome, happiness. Page of Angels, a message is coming for you. This is mysticism in this deck. And then we have Eight of Hearts, which is Saturn in Pisces. This may be referring back to when Saturn was in Pisces between 2023 and 2026. The card here is called codependency, and maybe you're making a connection between the offer that you're getting and maybe you don't really like this person in the same way that they like you, and you're recognizing that saying yes would just be codependent. I don't like leaving you guys on liminal cards, so let's just pick one more. I should have picked Lenormand. We have a Fool, a new beginning, and I think we should leave it at that, because no matter what you choose, you're going in a very good direction. You're making a decision here. It's an informed decision, and I think you should trust yourself. So pay attention to your mood, your thoughts this week. Challenge yourself this week. Live every day to its limit. Push yourself. Do the things that you really want to do, and the road will open up for you. Okay? I hope you guys like this form of video. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe to make the energy real. Thank you for watching. I'll see you soon. Bye.